Today, I want to talk to young people. We call them Millennials or Generation Z, the Gen Z. These are people who were born from the late 80s. There is a new disease that is eating up our young people. And this disease is pornography, for men particularly. I want to talk about the men, the young males, and the next video I'll talk about the young women because they have their disease. We're seeing a lot of this problem in the rehabilitation center, in mental health institutions like Fountain of Hope, where I'm talking to you from. But before I go deep into that, have you subscribed to Dr. BMS channel? Please do subscribe because the discussions are getting more and more interesting, relevant to the whole family, and it's a message you can share, like today's message, with young people, your children, your other friends if you're a young person, so that they can know a little bit more about what they're doing, if they're engaged in pornography like we talk, and what that effect it has on their body, mind, and soul. BMS, the health of their BMS. So click that subscribe button, click the notification bell, share this video, make our channel grow. So the Millennials, Generation Z, pornography, men, this is the new disease for young men. What is pornography? Pornography generally is defined as a situation where you depict, you show images or writings that are meant to provoke or to elicit sexual excitement. And so there could be videos, there could be pictures, there could be writings that are graphic and which, when someone consumes, they start getting sexually excited. And so we're seeing a lot of this with the young people coming into rehabilitation. Their parents will bring them in. My son, I'm talking about males today. My son is engaged in drugs of addiction, Daktari. We found cannabis in his room. In college, we found bottles of alcohol. He has missed on exams. He has failed to progress. He has behaviors that we do not understand because sometimes he can just disappear from home. He locks his room. He's untidy. He does not account for money. And he seems to want money all the time, including using trickery. He has even stolen some things from home and sold, and he intimidated his young siblings not to say. And we found out this. He had taken the money to go buy cannabis, marijuana, cigarettes, alcohol. And so we brought him to the rehabilitation center. So yeah, we admit, we do our assessments, and we start. We start treatment. As we are doing our assessments, we just find out, voila, this young man is deeply addicted to pornography. So this is an addition to the alcohol, to the marijuana, and the parents didn't know. And we tell the parents, and some of them are shocked that this is what's happening. Because remember, Millennials and Generation Z are people who are born by another generation, like Dr. BMS generation. I am over 50 now. So our generation, we didn't know these things. And so for us, alcohol could make some sense, a bit of cannabis, cigarettes, but pornography, you are watching sexually explicit pictures and videos the whole day, and maybe masturbating in the process, and now you are hooked on it. You don't go to school, you don't attend classes, you lock yourself in your room, you want internet bundles or Wi-Fi password. You want a computer because you say you're studying in school, you're doing homework, but you're using this computer to just watch sexually explicit content. And we are shocked that this is happening to our children, but yes, it is there and it is happening. So we diagnose this and include it on the to-do list, the things we have to treat. And we start discussing with parents and telling them what it is, what they can do, and most of them are shocked. Today, therefore, I want to talk to parents, I want to talk to the young people, the whole family, everyone to understand what pornography is, what it does to you, and what you can do to avoid this. Young men are most involved compared to young women, and they engage in this alongside other drugs of addiction. Usually, it can be the tracer, the beginning. They started by watching pornography and they progressed into alcohol, cannabis, or sometimes it can come together with the others or even after the others. But when it comes, it becomes a problem that is significant in its own right. And so today, let's discuss what is wrong with pornography. What does it do? Why do these people end up in rehabilitation in the first place? Pornography has got a deleterious effect on our mental health, especially for young men, because pornography starts to eat away, to cut away at the fundamentals that make a man to be a man, to grow and mature, and meet a girl and seduce this girl and propose to marry her, to start a family, and start a family, which is the basis of our society. It cuts on the things that make the man be able to do that. And that's why it is a problem, apart from the other problems associated with it, like addiction, which cuts across other addiction, that it takes your time, it is enslaving you, you cannot control yourself, you lose money, time, and it takes you off the path of career development and growth. So for young men, how does it cut away at the things that make us or make young men to grow into adult men like Dr. BMS? You see, a young man is expected to mature, go meet a girl, court a girl, and eventually start a family with the woman. Most of the time, the courtship is initiated by the man. Things are changing. Girls do initiate it, but statistically, today, still more of it is done by the man, the young man. Now, pornography, one of the harmful effects it has is that it takes away the courage of these young men to go and face a girl and present their case like, hey, I'm an eligible, upright, handsome young man who can be a great husband. Why does it do that? Because pornography, all you need to do when you want to engage in it is to get your computer, it's linked to the internet, you click open and you can see any girl you want in any sexual situation you want. And you can change from one girl to another, and it becomes so easy, you flow over it. I'm talking about young men, remember. And so over time, you start to see, your brain starts to condition itself like women, girls are just there. You just click and you get. If you want a tall one, a fat one, black, brown, long hair, short hair, anything you want is just a click away. But that's not reality. That's not the real world. In the real world, you would go out and meet girls. You will approach. Some will reject you. Some will humiliate you. And you have to forge on as a man and continue until you find the one you will get and take home. But now if you are used to these shortcuts of pornography, you are conditioned such that there is no effort. If you try to go out and talk to a girl and she was not interested, then why bother? I mean, I just go back home and I have my computer and I'll just see what I want to see. And maybe in the process I can even masturbate, because pornography is accompanied by practices like masturbation a lot. So I'll just masturbate, jerk myself off, and that's it. I have my thing, I'm okay. So it takes away the courage, the skills, the fundamentals that a young man needs to court a woman and to start a family. The other problem with addiction to pornography, or pornography for that matter, is that it reverses the way men see women. Men are supposed to be attracted to women more or less on a balanced global scale. She has attributes you like, behavior-wise, in terms of looks, in terms of her achievement. Sometimes it could be history. All these are supposed to come together to mix with the interaction you're going to have with her. You talk to her, how she responded, and all that, to bring in the attraction with this girl so that you pursue her, you court her. But what pornography does is that it just brings out the beauty, attractiveness. So if you like a girl who looks this way and not that way, without me having to use very graphic language, then it's all there. You just pick it. So again, it conditions your mind to look at women from just an appearance point of view, a sexual performance point of view, and you put beauty, attractiveness on a pedestal that is really high. What then that does is that when you go out to the real world after watching a lot of pornography and you wanted to find a girl in real time, you have been conditioned to look at girls for beauty, attractiveness, and what you think they can achieve sexually from the way they look. But herein lies a problem. Because naturally, if you are a man, a young man looking for a girl to marry, and you are to get a good girl, it is better you get a girl who is attracted to you more than you are even attracted to her. And I'll explain that. In the scheme of things, in the courtship arena, the way God arranged is that the man is supposed to provide and care for the woman. So women look for the ability to provide, to care. Men, on the other hand, look at beauty, attractiveness, which is like an indicator of fertility and the ability to bear children and start a family. And so, if a woman then is attracted to you primarily, then she is able to see you beyond your faults. She can team up with you to form a family, to perfect what needs to be perfected, to smooth over what needs to be smoothed over. And so this woman is going to be more respectful to you, more available to you, more cooperative with you, because she has that primary attraction to you, and so she's seeing that potential provider, which is her main objective. But now when you are addicted to porn and you are the one who is attracted to a woman more than she's attracted to you, because you look at beauty and attractiveness for the sake of it, you are likely to fall for women who do not care much about you just because they have those body features you think are attractive. And so you will go grovel, if I may use that word, to girls who cannot reciprocate this love for you. And so they will treat you with less respect. They will cooperate with you less, except in situations where you have fulfilled exactly what they wanted. And so the relationship starts to be very transactional. And in such a relationship, the propensity for it to end in divorce, separation, is high. Because remember, I told you, this woman really doesn't respect you much. She doesn't see you in that light, like you can be a good person, you can be a good provider. You are the one who went praising how she looks and how she turns you on and how she makes you feel like you are in a sexual experience because you are reliving the pornography you watched, and you are using it as a criterion to choose your women, subverting God's plan for the running of the courtship process. A third problem with pornography is that it encourages sexual abuse, including rape, in the minds of this young person. Because remember, like I said when I was talking about taking away your courage, you just go to your computer, you open it, you click a button, and you have this bunch of women, young girls available for you to watch and mentally have sex with them and do whatever you want. You don't need to know their name. You don't need to talk to them. Their pictures or videos, they are not talking back to you, but you interact with them and you are emotionally engaged. So in a way, you start getting used to women being like chattels. You know, you can just get a woman. You don't need to know her name or talk to her. But if you can undress her and do what you want to do, that's okay. Now, that's the definition of rape. So, if you are watching too much porn, there's a likelihood that one day you can commit acts of violence towards a woman because that's what you are used to. Things just happen. Women don't have to consent. It's only your mouse and the mouse pointer that needs to consent, not the person you are with. There's a fourth problem, that pornography will take away empathy and replace it with desire. What is empathy? You know, when you are in a real relationship with someone, you will meet them, you will talk to them, you will see how they are, you will know how they are feeling. If they have had a bad day, you will feel it with them. If they are unwell, you know, if they are happy, you will share in the happiness. So there's that bit of traveling together emotionally, the empathy, feeling the other person's world. But in pornography, you don't feel anything for this person you are seeing on the screen. If you opened your computer at 7 in the morning, she's there. And you are tired, you want to sleep, I'll come back at 2 p.m. You click, she's there. So you don't have time to think about, perhaps she's tired. I watched her at 7, I made her to wait on my screen, and now it's 2 p.m. and she's still there. Maybe has she eaten lunch? You don't have those thoughts. You are losing empathy and replacing it with desire. What matters is just the desire in you. I desire to be with this woman in a sexual way, and she has to be there. Now, when you go to the real world, you find young men who are very impatient. They don't feel for the opposite sex. They want to just engage and look for the next opportunity to engage in the most lewd of sexual activities. They don't even have the courage to initiate this. They are acting like they can even rape these girls. All this because of pornography. Lastly, like I started, most of these patients come with their parents complaining they're addicted to drugs. So pornography has a symbiotic relationship with drugs of addiction. And many of these are mind-altering drugs, because if you are going to be engaging in sexual activities based on what you are seeing on a screen for hours on no end and imagining that that is real, and maybe in the process getting so excited you will masturbate, then if you found a drug that can aid that altering of the mind, cause that excitement, euphoria, that drug is your friend. And what are these drugs that cause euphoria? Alcohol, marijuana, miraa, in small quantities before they cause other things. So pornography then becomes like a cousin, a partner of alcohol and drugs. And that's why most of these people end up in rehabilitation, and we have now to treat the whole cocktail of these addictive disorders. The sixth and final point is that watching pornography, being addicted to pornography as a man, as a young man, predisposes you to making bad choices when it comes to the dating scene, looking for a life partner and family. Because think of it, when you watch pornography, you start getting habituated to extreme sexual behavior. You see people in the movies and on those videos you watch doing extreme things, some sexual perversion. Sometimes some of them are in threesome, some of them are doing terrible stuff with other people, sometimes even with animal things, gadgets. That's extreme sexual behavior. Now, when you go out into the real world, picture this situation. You have two girls. You are a young man, you have two girls. One of them is shy, conservative, naive. So when you get into a sexual situation with her, she doesn't seem to know what to do. She doesn't seem able to allow you to do one or two things you had imagined you would do. Scenario one. And the second scenario, there is this other girl. You get into a sexual relationship with her, and she seems to know all the right things. She can do some of the crazy things you have seen on the movies, watching pornography, or imagined. She just seems to be an expert, and she's willing and ready to go. Who will you choose? My hunch is that you will choose that girl who seems ready to go, knows everything, because she identifies with what you see in the pornographic movies. But here's the catch. Between that innocent girl who doesn't seem to know what to do and this girl who seems to be an expert, who is likely to be a more promiscuous girl? You answer that question for yourself, and then answer, do you want to marry a promiscuous girl or a girl who is naive, a girl who is chaste, a girl who is humble, just starting? What will you choose? Because remember, this is rarely said, but men have a natural distaste for promiscuity on the part of the women. It's a bit unfair that they do that and themselves they can be, but it's true. They have a natural distaste, because when you are engaging with women who are promiscuous, you just cannot know who the father of that child is. I'll talk about that more in the next video.